Well, after what we have heard, let's just talk a moment about this our next project, and I would like to talk about the version that you're going to record of La Rondine with Ditlev Rindom, that is one of the most accomplished and knowledgeable expert of Puccini. The thing that is interesting for me is this one. Generally, when we do when there are different versions of an opera, generally what we hear performed more often is the last version. So the composer was not happy with the first one, so did another one and then another one, etc., etc. I mean, for example, of Puccini, we can, Butterfly, for example, that have, I don't know, many versions. But this is different, correct? Because this is not a version that you have ever heard, but this is the one that Puccini wanted at the end.
Absolutely, that's absolutely true. We hear it now revived fairly regularly. I mean, I think it used to be known a little bit like the Cinderella of Puccini's sort of big mature operas, but it's performed very regularly now. But we basically always hear the standard 1917 version, which we call the first edition. But this is a piece that actually Puccini worked on all throughout the final years of his life. He made two later versions of them. The first one was premiered then sort of 1919 in Palermo. He did his second version, and then in 1921 he then published a third version, which Puccini himself actually never heard live in the theatre. Um, but we have always ended up hearing this standard version from 1917. And the simple answer to this question is that now we actually don't have the full scores available of these two later versions. So although we know that Puccini really put a lot of care and love into this final version of La Rondine, if you actually want to perform it, you have to do historical reconstruction, you have to use the vocal scores, reorchestration, we could call it the Opera Rara magic to make this version of La Rondine really come back to life again, which obviously makes it a fantastic project for Opera Rara, but also it's really an incredibly interesting, unique version of La Rondine. I mean, if we think about it compared to the standard version that we already know, there are significant changes in the way that the plot develops, and perhaps we can talk a little bit about that. One thing that's actually worth saying, I think, early on is that in a way, this very final version of La Rondine actually took Puccini back to the very original idea of what this opera was going to be like. When he was sent the original libretto, the draft for this opera, we know this because it was published in newspapers. It explained that there was going to be this love story between Magda and Rogero. They would move to France, but at the end of the opera, he would find out about her past and he would reject her. And Puccini, as he first worked on the opera, changed his mind about this ending. So the ending we all know it's that Magda decides to leave Ruggiero. But actually, what we hear in this final version of La Rondine is also the very original idea, the very first idea that was handled for La Rondine, which is you have in a way, much more tragic ending that Magda wants to continue this passionate relationship with Ruggiero, but he finds out about her life in Paris and says it's over. So it's something, it's really painful. It's a really beautiful version of this opera, but it's incredible that it's actually never been performed in, for a century. This entire version of this opera has never actually been heard.
Yeah, thank you for this explanation. The interesting thing for me about what you just said is not that it's just a rewriting of some pieces on or some ensemble, but also is a real different conceptual change in the drama of the opera. I think this is really important, and I cannot wait to do it. Actually, one thing that maybe we should mention as a little teaser is that the vocal score that one of the vocal score that exists is a vocal score with the autograph dedication of Puccini to Arturo Toscanini.
Oh,
And Puccini in the first page in the frontespizio, it says "Caro Arturo," uh, and then he says this phrase actually of La Bohème, "Torna al nido la rondine e cinguetta." Now maybe I am building too much here, but "Torna al nido" means la rondine comes back to home,
to her, yeah, to her
and then
nest, yeah.
sing. It may be that is a little hint, hey, Arturo Toscanini, this is what I want to do. And
Absolutely,
that I think is very interesting.
yeah.
We do also some pieces also of the second version, so, correct?
Yes, and I think this is, I mean, this is incredible that we can do this Locurara, which is that There, it is also possible to reconstruct the second version through, and I think this is going to be a really special opportunity for listeners actually to compare how Puccini treated some of the same plot material or used some of the same musical devices in a different context between the second and the third versions. And the second version, again, has never been performed in its entirety, it's never been recorded. So I think it will be amazing actually to finally be able to listen to these real highlights from La Rondine and compare the final version, the second version, and think about how different they actually are from the standard version we know.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, I'm here also with what I would call the Magda, that is our dearest Ermonela Jaho. I say the Magda because if there is a signature role that make her famous in the world, one of the many actually signature role is definitely the role of Magda in La Rondine. So Ermonela, ciao, welcome.
Oh, maestro,
And,
thank you.
so you have done this so many times in different houses with different colleagues, different conductors. Um, so I just wonder, for somebody that knows the role so intimately, like you do, how do you how do you feel about actually clearly having to rethink this role, not only vocally, but psychologically more than vocally, to give all these different endings, these different feelings?
Really, first of all, I'm so excited, and it's a big opportunity because to sing the music by Maestro Puccini, it's always a great pleasure, and I love all the operas written from him. But La Rondine, La Rondine. Yeah, I've sung it different in different opera houses, and I'm so curious now to see the third, this new music, and I feel so privileged as well at the same time. And it's a big opportunity and a big challenge, Maestro, because it's a great responsibility to bring to life this new production, new edition, and emotionally, still it's a love story, maybe impossible love story, and every end that Maestro Puccini wanted, still it's a love story, impossible one. So it's going to be a sufferance, there, pain. And I would say, even in these three different versions, still is it's more realistic, I would say, more verista, this the story of Rondine than the other operas, because we have this uncompleted loves in our lives, these kind of sacrifices, and Puccini was a master to bring them in the opera. So I'm really curious, and I'm so happy and privileged, Maestro, and excited at the same time to share together, to bring to life together this masterpiece in a different, with this unknown music, and to bring, why not, this flag that the Opera Rara always brings to the opera world, to bring the unknown music to life. And it depends so much from our souls if we do that with our love, with passion. And I think this is the key of this new version as well, to bring Puccini new, maybe. So, and to give the value of this opera that I've heard many times when I've sung La Rondina. It's not it's not a butterfly, it's not Tosca, it's the minor, opera, as you said, the Cinderella. But in every note, in every word, it's so much drama, so much life. All the color of life itself. They are described it so beautifully. In this opera, and I'm so curious now with the new version. So that's why it makes opera so new, I would say. And I hope we all will do our best to bring that and to make it the public, fall in love with the new rondine, with the more drama, with more feelings, human feelings that always remains, pain, sacrifices, life itself. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Thank you. Well, you were talking about this story of impossible love. Seems to me that you're also a specialist at impossible loves in opera. Just thinking about Butterfly, for example, we did together Bohème. And funny enough, I just mentioned three operas of Puccini. So you clearly your voice, I use a word that I hate, fits, the music of Puccini. Um, is something that you always had since when you were young and you started this affinity with Puccini, or that developed during your career?
Actually, maybe I had that always, but I became conscious with my career, I would say. Maybe because we are Mediterranean, I don't know, everything, the drama, the tragedy, it's in our blood, I would say. And in somehow I found my way to channel my feelings through my voice. And I tried, I think I discovered that on time, especially with Puccini, the duty uh, for myself as an artist and opera as an opera singer to give to my voice the colors of the soul that I'm singing. And it came so naturally, so organic that in Puccini I found that it comes so all these kind of colors, they fit very well. I would say they fit perfectly. I would say, with Puccini. So that's why. But I think last word it's public. So if we can convey these feelings, all together with music, because I'm so lucky, not because you are here, maestro, but it's very important to have a great maestro in front as well to bring the best from the singers, not only the notes, but every note means, an spear, an expression. So everything has a meaning, why it's written. So, and to have that kind of liberty to make music together, it will be fantastic. And in the family of Opera Rara, that everything comes, with so much love, support, and we know that very well. We are so vulnerable, as artists, and to feel comfortable, to feel in family all together. I think we'll bring our best, to the public, and I can't wait. I'm looking forward. I'm excited like a little girl now. So after 32 years, maestro, in the opera world, that I've sung so many, many, many operas, still I feel like a girl. This curiosity, and thank you to Ditlev, to you, to everyone, to bring to life, still in
Well,
Puccini something new. It's fantastic.
thank you to you for being with us on this journey, and journey that if even only a quarter of the enthusiasm that you are showing will become through definitely something for our listeners, our friends to looking forward. Thank you very much, Dieter. Thank you very much, Ermonela.
Thank you.